Have you ever wondered what makes a scary story really get under your skin? It's often not about what you see, but about the rules you thought you understood just being broken, one by one. So today, we're going to deconstruct a terrifyingly simple horror script to see exactly how it builds absolute fear from just a single repeating sound. And it all starts with this, a sound we all know, right? But put it in the right context, and it becomes the most frightening thing in the world. It's a question. It's an interruption. It's a demand for your attention from something you don't know.
And that's really the core question we're digging into here. We're going to break down how this script takes a sound that should be totally familiar and just twists it, turning it into a source of pure dread by messing with our ideas of space, safety, and even our own identity.
You see, every great horror story, it needs a baseline. It needs a sense of what's normal, so it can then systematically and brutally tear it all apart. And here, the script sets its stage perfectly, with a teenager, Ahmed, just hanging out in his bedroom on a rainy night. It's a scene of perfect, almost boring normalcy.
These little details are absolutely key. The ticking clock, the rain tapping on the window, a teenager on his phone. These are the sounds and sights of comfort, of safety. The script is basically lulling us, and Ahmed, into this false sense of security. This is his space, his sanctuary. Or so he thinks.
And then, this. Just like that, the ordinary is shattered. The sound is an intruder, an unexplained variable in what was a safe equation. And notice how it forces a reaction. Ahmed has to investigate. The sound doesn't just happen, it demands to be answered.
Okay, this is where the script really starts to show its genius. The story isn't just about some scary noise, it's about completely subverting our expectations of how the world is supposed to work. The horror comes from attacking the very idea of a safe space, which, let's be honest, is something we all fundamentally need. Let's see how it builds on this.
So Ahmed does the logical thing. He does what any of us would do. He checks the hallway, because that's where a knock would come from. And he finds nothing. For a split second, there's relief. Right? You feel it too? Maybe it was just a house settling, maybe his imagination. The script gives us this little moment of calm on purpose, right before pulling the rug out from under us.
Because the knock comes again, but this time, it's from behind him. And suddenly, this terrifying realization just crashes down. The threat isn't outside trying to get in, it's already inside, with him. The one place he thought was safe is now the source of the danger.
This is the classic horror playbook, executed perfectly. First, you get the unexplained event. Second, the logical attempt to just dismiss it. Third, that moment of false security we just talked about. And finally, the escalation that proves your rational explanation was completely, terrifyingly wrong. This script just nails it, turning Ahmed's sanctuary into a trap.
So, now that the rules of physical space are totally broken, the script moves into pure psychological terror. It starts making the familiar feel profoundly, wrong. This is what we call the uncanny valley, where things look almost right, but a few tiny changes create this deep, gut-wrenching sense of unease.
So when Ahmed steps back into his room, it's not a monster he sees. It's these subtle, impossible little changes. The clock that was ticking has stopped. The door he knows he left open is now closed. The horror isn't something being added to the room, it's the room itself becoming hostile, unnatural.
And the sound, it just relentlessly corners him. First, it was at his bedroom door. Then, it's coming from inside the closet. And when he finds that empty, it's at the door again, the door that's now closed, trapping him inside. There is literally no escape. The threat is always one step ahead, hurting him towards that final confrontation.
Okay, so up until now, the threat has been this unseen force, right? Just a sound. But every good horror story needs its reveal. That moment, the monster finally steps out of the shadows. And believe me, this script's reveal is an absolute masterclass in psychological terror.
So he's shaking. He feels trapped. But Ahmed finally confronts the sound and opens the door one last time. And what's waiting for him isn't a monster with fangs or claws. It's himself, the ultimate violation. A perfect copy of him, but with one key horrifying difference, an unnaturally wide smile.
And then the doppelganger speaks, and its first words are just bone-chilling. It's not a threat, it's a statement of fact, delivered softly. It confirms Ahmed's absolute worst fear. That by investigating the sound, by opening the door,
He sealed his own fate.
You know, this taps into such a primal fear. The doppelganger is an incredibly powerful horror archetype because it attacks our very sense of self. The terror isn't just seeing a copy of yourself, it's the horrifying implication that your identity, your uniqueness, everything that makes you you, can be stolen. The terror is no longer out there, it's personal, it's inescapable.
Now, you might think the doppelganger reveal is the end. That's the big climax, right? But this script, it has one last horrifying turn of the screw. This is where the story goes from a simple haunting to something much, much worse.
Ahmed spins around to run back into his bedroom, his last sanctuary, but it's just gone. It's been replaced by nothing but pure darkness. This is the ultimate violation of reality. It's not just that his safe space has been compromised, it has been completely erased from existence. There is literally nowhere left to run.
And in that darkness, the final horror just clicks into place. The doppelganger is right behind him, of course, inescapable. And the knock comes one last time. But it's not from a door or a closet. No, it's coming from inside his own body. The threat is no longer with him, it is him.
And this final line, wow, it's just devastating. The doppelganger's smiling words reveal the true nature of this curse. See, Ahmed hasn't been haunted or killed. He's been consumed, transformed, and replaced. He has become the very thing that terrorized him, the new knock on the door, fated to repeat this horrifying cycle forever.
So you see, this script isn't just about a bump in the night. It's about the fear of losing your safe spaces, of losing your grip on reality, and ultimately, of losing your own identity. It leaves us with a truly terrifying thought. The most horrifying monsters are the ones that look just like us. It really makes you wonder, what fear is knocking on your door?